of drafting its water and sanitation bylaws, and we'd really like to know why. So today we have Lorato Mabula, the Senior Manager from the City of Ekurhulene's Water and Sanitation Department. Welcome, Ms. Mabula.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's just delve into it. What is bylaws?
Okay, bylaws are laws that are governed by municipalities. The Constitution of South Africa gives municipalities the power to create their own laws through bylaws. So basically, bylaws are laws that the municipality will develop and implement because of that power that has been granted upon them by the Constitution.
So why are we amending those if we do have bylaws already in place? So why is the city embarking on this process to amend them?
Okay, so ideally, bylaws are supposed to be reviewed every 5 years. So the Water and Sanitation Department has two existing bylaws, the Water Supply Bylaw as well as the Wastewater Bylaw. So these two bylaws were last approved and published in 2002. So that, coupled with the recent developments in terms of technologies, as well as the department's attempt to align with the latest policies and bylaws developed by other departments within the city, as well as the latest technologies, that prompted the review of these two bylaws, and it led us to developing what we now call the Water Services Draft Bylaw.
So you mentioned that it's a list of rules. How does that impact me as a resident of the city? And why do I need to make comments?
Okay. So, the Water Services Bylaw contains provisions for the supply of water and sanitation services, right? The Water Services Bylaw regulates the water services delivery to our communities. So according to the Municipal Systems Act, the municipalities are encouraged to involve communities, right, in decision-making processes that affect them. And one of the ways in which municipalities try to do that is through public participation processes. So what happens is public participation processes give communities the opportunities to also have a say in these documents that will affect them. It gives our communities an opportunity to also have a voice. You know, instead of just having a municipality develop this document that is composed of all these laws, which will be imposed on communities without communities, you know, having had a say. So that is basically the purpose of that. It is legislated by the MSA, and it is important for communities to also take part, like I said, in order to make sure that they also have a say in municipal matters.
And I am aware that the city has had quite a number of public participations engagements.
Yes.
So how do people actually comment? Where do I get to view them? Or do I go on the internet? If I don't have internet connection, how do I get to make comments and actually contribute to these bylaws?
Okay, so we have notices at various CCCs. We also have enough information on the city's website. Information on the water services bylaws can be obtained from the city's website. Communities are also welcome to visit any CCC to inquire. We've also availed this document at the various CCCs, so they can also visit the CCCs to get a copy of the draft bylaw, or visit the city's website to download the bylaw, or they can send an email to waterservicebylaw@ekurhuleni.gov.za and request that an electronic copy of the bylaw be emailed to them.
All right, thank you, because that really answers a question that we got on our digital platforms from people who really wanted to know that they want to make comments, but where do we go? And another question that I have, does the bylaws affect us differently if I'm a resident versus me being a business owner? Do they have a different impact? Do we comment differently? How does that work?
Okay, so that speaks to the issue of applicability.
Okay.
The Water Services Bylaw applies to all residents within the City of Ekurhuleni jurisdiction. So it affects ordinary customers, and that includes businesses as well. So the section, I guess, that will relate to you will depend on where you're sitting. For example, businesses that have companies that have businesses within the city of Ekurhuleni. Maybe their interest will be on the section regarding effluent discharges, you understand? For an ordinary citizen, maybe that's not really that big of an issue for you. So businesses will focus maybe on that specific section. Maybe as an ordinary citizen, your issue or your focus will be, oh, okay, what type of customer agreement must I sign with the city? So in a nutshell, the document applies to everyone residing within the city of Ekurhuleni. It's just that you would check which specific section you would want to focus on.
Interesting, because you're speaking about discharging of effluents. Some businesses might claim that I didn't know that I'm not supposed to do A, B, and C. So basically the bylaws are what governs and regulates. How do businesses actually get to know about these? Is it like legislated that every single business is supposed to be familiar with our bylaws?
Everyone, the message of this bylaw, we're trying by all means, including through this platform, to get the message to as many of our people as possible. So every single person residing within the city of Ekurhuleni should make themselves aware of the bylaw. Businesses do not have an excuse when it comes to this to say, no, this message did not reach us, because part of the public participation process, part of the Municipal Systems Act that I was referring to earlier with regard to public participation processes is that the municipalities are supposed to publish notice of these bylaws in national newspapers. So at the commencement of this entire process, we published our intention to start with public participation processes on 3 national newspapers to make sure that businesses and everybody else is aware of what we're doing. And also as a department, we're liaising with some of the companies that are doing business with the municipality to just say, hey, this is what we're doing. Because of the nature of the work that you might be doing with the city, please obtain this document and make comments. Because in the past we've been getting applications from companies because of the water scarcity issues.
Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of applications, people wanting to delve into alternative water sources, right? And other companies, developers have been inquiring about introducing package plants, on-site sanitation systems. So the previous bylaws did not speak to these latest technologies, right? So with this new draft bylaw, we've catered to some of these issues that have been emerging from people, companies that are doing business within the city. So businesses are strongly encouraged to also study the document thoroughly and make sure that they understand and send through their inputs as well if they have any.
I really love the fact that the city, as a smart digital city, we're actually trying to keep up with the latest developments, and the fact that businesses are actually coming on board. I really love that. So after the whole process of the comments, where to from there? After everybody has made their inputs, regular residents, businesses, what happens after that?
Okay, so after the deadline of submission of all comments, we're going to sit down as a department and go through all comments received, whether it's comments that we received electronically or through our public meetings. We're going to go through all of those comments and vet them properly and then incorporate them accordingly into the draft document. And then after that, we clean the document up. Obviously, during that process, we involve other departments. We study the document. We always make sure that it is in line with relevant legislative frameworks. So at the end of that process, we then send the document over to be approved by council. There's a lot of internal processes that have to go on, but eventually council will give the final approval, and then after that the document will now be promulgated and published, and it will be now the final water services bylaw for the city at the end of all of that.
So we only have this window to make comments. After the bylaws have been amended and has gone through various departments, there isn't another opportunity for us as registered citizens to go back and review it and object?
No. This is the period. This is the period that we have given our residents to make all the comments that they feel they need to, because like I said, we have certain timelines that we have to abide by.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Ekurhuleni, you heard it here first on the COE podcast. For more information, please do visit the City of Ekurhuleni website, ekurhuleni.gov.za. Lorato, thank you so much for this insightful information.